In this video, I will walk you through how to find the definition of a spelling word, find the example sentence to go along with that word, and then include both of those pieces of information into your discussion post. So as you can see, your spelling words for this week are already on the screen, and I'm just going to choose one of the words. You're going to choose at least 7 of the words to do this activity with. I'll just show you with the one. So I'm going to pick the word gather, and this is just going to be for the example. I'm going to scroll down to where it says click here for the dictionary link and click on that, because that's going to get me to where I can find the information about the meaning of the word gather, as well as the example sentence that uses the word gather in it. So let me click that. And it's going to open up the dictionary page. Now, when it's time to find out what your word means and find the example sentence, you're going to type in your spelling word in this section of the page where I'm circling right now. So I'm going to type the word gather right here where I'm circling. After you type in the word, click go. And then you're going to scroll down a little bit to see the information that you need. So notice the part of speech for the word gather is a verb. Gather is something that you do. Now, I'm concerned about 2 things for the word gather. The definition, which is right near definition 1, and it says, to gather is to bring together into one place or collection. The other thing that I'm concerned about is the example sentence. So what's great about the example sentence is that it takes the word that you looked up and it uses the word in a sentence in context so that you have a better understanding of what that word means. So the example sentence on this website is always going to be in italics. So I'm highlighting the example sentence right now. All of the words have that slanted look to them, and we've talked about this many times before. The example sentence for gather says, the boy gathered his marbles and put them in a bag. So if you were to listen to or read this sentence to yourself, it would give you a better picture of what gather means. So now we're ready to take this information on this page and include it in our discussion post. So what I'm going to do is first copy the definition of gather. If you would rather type it out word for word, that's fine, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to copy paste. So I've got my definition. Now I'm going to go back to Schoology and start my discussion post entry. So I'm going to type in the number 1 because this is the first word that I've looked up. And then I'm going to type the word gather into the box after number 1. Now, to keep my spelling words separate from my definitions, separate from what they mean, I'm going to use an equal sign. If you wanted to use a colon or just a hyphen to separate your word from what it means, all of those symbols are fine. I'm just going to stick with the equal sign because that's what I like the best. All right, so after my equal sign, I'm going to paste in the definition that I found on the dictionary website. So here that is, again, gather means to bring together into one place or collection. Now I have one more thing I need to do before I move on to the next spelling word. I'm going to include my example sentence with my definition of gather. So I'm going to click the return or enter key on my keyboard just to keep everything formatted and easy to read. And then I'm going to type in the words example sentence so that I can keep everything straight and understand the information that I'm putting onto my post. So I'm going to type example sentence. And then I'm going to separate the words example sentence from the actual example that I'm going to pull from the dictionary website. So for the example sentence, I'll just put a colon. You can use the equal sign, the hyphen, or whatever you feel comfortable with that separates the example sentence from the actual example. Now it's time to go back to the dictionary. And again, I'm looking for the sentence that's italicized. Notice all of the words are slanted. That's my example sentence using gather in a context. So I'm going to copy that. Again, if you wanted to type that out word for word, letter by letter into your post, that's also okay. And then I'm going to paste that right after where I wrote example sentence and put my colon. Okay, so the example sentence, the boy gathered his marbles and put them in a bag, is now here underneath my definition of gather and my word gather. So I did all of my jobs for my first word. Now I'm ready to move on to the second word. So to do that, I'm going to click the return or enter key. Then I'm going to type in the number 2. And then I'm ready to start on my next word.